On my birthday, Dad and Mom took me to the mall to pick out clothes. Sis and I both liked the same dress, and Mom advised me. "You're the older sister, so let Sis have the dress." I threw the dress in Sis's face. Wear it, are you not going to live to see your birthday?" Sis's crying attracted the attention of the customers around us. Under Dad and Mom's scolding, I pulled Sis's pants off, screamed, twisted, convulsed, and howled, spinning in circles while waving the pants around like a dog barking. Everyone looked at me in horror. And I was completely crazy. My name is Ella, and I'm 12 years old. In my previous life, when I was 10, Dad and Mom, who had been working away from home for 7 years, came back. I prepared gifts for Dad and Mom with great anticipation. On the day they came back, I saw Sis Chloe, who was 2 years younger than me, for the first time. Chloe was dressed up beautifully, like a princess. I looked down at my faded short-sleeved shirt that cost 10 yuan and felt like crying. Granny didn't notice my sadness and smiled as she pushed me towards Chloe. "Ellie, you're the older sister now. You have to accommodate Sis in everything." Dad and Mom also took my hands. "Ellie, from now on, besides Dad and Mom, Sis will also love you." I nodded blankly, forgetting to take out the gift I had prepared for Dad and Mom for a month. But in the days that followed, Chloe took advantage of Dad and Mom's love for her to bully me, slander me, steal my things, and even push me down the stairs. A thick iron nail pierced my stomach, and I fainted from the pain. In my blurry vision, I seemed to see Chloe's smug face. "Dad and Mom love me the most. You're just a failure." Now that I have been reborn, I deeply understand a truth. Take a step back and endure breast hyperplasia, endure ovarian cysts. The best way to deal with a spoiled girl is to repay her hatred with hatred. The consequence of throwing a tantrum in the mall was that I was filmed by passers-by and the video was uploaded online. However, in this life, I have already mastered the art of indifference. No matter what happens outside, I remain unmoved. I go to school calmly, eat calmly, and go to the bathroom calmly. I am completely calm. My father was so angry that he grabbed me by the collar like a chicken and slapped me hard on both cheeks. "You've disgraced me and your mother." I screamed at the top of my lungs, crying like a pig being slaughtered. "Ah, it hurts so much. If you like Chloe so much, why don't you just take her and live happily ever after as a family of 3? Why come back and bother me?" Granny heard this and slapped her thigh, exclaiming, "Ellie, how can you say that? Your dad and mom are working hard outside just for you. Chloe is your own sister. You should love and care for her. Look at yourself now. You don't even act like an older sister." Mom shook her head, her eyes filled with disappointment. "Ellie, you weren't like this when you were little. Like, when you and Dad abandoned me, I was only 2 years old. Now, not only am I bigger, but I'm also stronger." So, I flipped over, jumped, and rolled to the window, half my body dangling outside. Dad was so scared that he immediately grabbed Kang's hand. "What are you doing?" I scratched my butt and showed my 8 big white teeth. "I can't hold it anymore." Saying that, I squatted on the windowsill and reached for my pants. "I need to poop." Of course, I didn't manage to take off my pants and poop. The reason was that Chloe had hurt her arm at school, and Dad and Mom had rushed out with Granny after receiving a call. They completely forgot about me. I sighed, rubbed my numb legs, and shyly jumped down from the windowsill. I was the only one left in the empty house, so I went to Chloe's room, feeling helpless. Chloe's room was the largest room in the house, painted pink and decorated like a Barbie princess's palace. I tore down the decorations on the wall, stomped on them hard, and spat on Chloe's bedding, silently rubbing it in. Suddenly, I saw a diary on Chloe's desk. Although it was immoral to read someone else's diary, I happened to be an immoral person. I flipped to the first page, which read, "Ella is a slut." Flipping further, the pages were filled with my name written in red ink, accompanied by the word "die" in large letters. The ink seeped through the paper. How much hatred must have been poured into those words. I remembered that in my previous life, I had discovered Chloe's diary and was so scared I trembled all over. After much deliberation, I mustered the courage to hand the diary to Dad and Mom. But after reading it, they didn't say a single comforting word. Instead, they laughed and said, "Look, your sister's handwriting is so beautiful. They knew I was a sensible child. A sensible child doesn't fight back, doesn't say it hurts, doesn't cry when there's no candy, and even if another child takes the candy and throws it on the ground, she'll just quietly pick it up, crush it, and eat it silently. When I was at the top of my class, they would brag to their colleagues. Ellie is our pride and joy. But after my grades declined, they realized they couldn't get anything out of me anymore, so they started attacking me personally. Ella, your legs are so thick. How dare you wear a skirt to school? I ate as usual, but they didn't spare me. You're as fat as a pig. If I were you, I'd just go die. From that moment on, I truly realized that my dad and mom didn't love me. Being a good child only leads to bullying at home. So, in this life, I won't just cause a scene, I'll throw left hooks, right hooks, flying kicks, grab their collars and throw them to the ground, pick their heads up and spin them around, stomp on their stomachs, and smash their skulls flat with one palm. Then I'll gnaw on their corpses like a zombie. When Sue Chloe came back and saw her room in shambles, she naturally wouldn't let me off the hook. Dad rewarded me with another big slap. Due to the immense force of that slap, I stumbled a few times and fell face-first onto the table edge. Instantly, blood flowed down my forehead and onto my cheeks. Sue Chloe stuck her tongue out at me triumphantly. I stood up straight and sneered at Dad. You've been out in the world for so many years, and all you've learned is how to hit people? Dad was taken aback, and when he realized I was mocking him, he flew into a rage. Just wait until I beat you to death today. I pulled out my phone from my pocket and shouted. Police, help me. My dad is trying to kill me. Mom and Granny rushed over, one snatching the phone from my hand and apologizing to the police, while the other covered my mouth tightly from behind. After the commotion, Dad finally seemed a bit scared. He pretended to be a loving father again, patted the sofa next to him and told me to sit down. Ellie, do you have a misunderstanding about Dad, Mom, and Sis? It's okay, just say it, Dad will help you solve it. Don't cross your legs. I said. Dad was clearly angry with me again. I wiped the blood from my face and sat calmly. Is your manic disorder acting up again? Dad's forehead veins bulged, and his teeth gritted loudly. After a while, he returned to normal, lit a cigarette, and stared at me with a smile. Ella, speak up. What do you really want? What do I want? In the past, I would have said I wanted love, I wanted affection from my parents. But at that moment, looking into Dad's cold eyes, I only said, I want to cut off all ties with you. Fine, Dad stubbed out his cigarette in the ashtray, crushed it a few times with a dark look in his eyes, then looked up and said, Do you really think I ever treated you like my own daughter? I said sympathetically, Did my mom cheat on you? Dad raised his hand to hit me. I dodged and laughed. Richard, do you really think I want to be your daughter? Every day I live under the name of your daughter makes me feel sick. I know better than anyone why my dad left this place to work in another city. When I was 3, my dad took out a high-interest loan, owed his employees a mountain of debt, and fled with my mom to another city. But heaven always forgives a devil. Over the years in another city, Richard made a name for himself, not only having a daughter named Sue Chloe but also becoming the boss of a small company. While he was away, I was the one who had to endure all the scorn and abuse. What could I do? A father who ran away, a weak mother, a feudal grandmother, and her broken heart. As Richard's daughter, this was my fate. At the age of 14, I finally turned into a crazy woman, sticking a spear in shit and stabbing anyone who got in my way. Once, Chloe stole my modeling clay. At night, I broke into Chloe's room and cut her hair into a hedgehog style with scissors. When Mom found out, she was so scared that she made Chloe give the modeling clay back to me. Chloe, don't you know that her things are like golden beans? No one is allowed to touch them. I smiled with satisfaction. Yes, that's right. No one needs to care about me. Everyone can just stay away from me. One night, Chloe came to me and said, Ella, haven't you ever wondered why your parents don't like you? You're too extreme. Everyone around you gets hurt. Dad and Mom like someone who is sensible, kind, and can bring value to them, not someone who is full of thorns. I scratched my ear, confused. What are you talking about? Chloe angrily said, Ella, I'm trying to help you. Don't be ungrateful. Don't you know it yourself? In all the years we've been away, Dad and Mom have never mentioned you once. Because the three of us are a family. It's your appearance that disrupted our peaceful family life. I smiled as I approached Sue Chloe and slapped her across the face. Just as Sue Chloe was about to call out to Dad and Mom, I let out a scream and collapsed to the ground. Sis, my dear sis. Your face is swollen. The old master said to take care of your health and protect the child in your womb. How could you be so careless? I pounded my chest with both fists, screaming hysterically, twisting my body into an odd shape, and spitting saliva onto Sue Chloe. If anything happens to you, what will I do? Sue Chloe was so scared she collapsed on the ground. Please, spare me. In the days that followed, I went about my days alone, staying in the corner of the classroom studying frantically, and locking myself in my room at home, studying day and night. Another summer arrived, and in the heat and noise of July, I was admitted to the best high school in the city with the 7th highest score in the school. Dad and Mom couldn't stop smiling and boasted about my grades to everyone they met. Not only that, but my dad even threw a banquet to celebrate my admission. At the banquet, my dad got drunk and, with a red face, shouted at me to perform a program for my uncles and aunts. I'm not good at singing or dancing. In my previous life, to satisfy Richard's vanity, I was called to the stage and performed a dance with uncoordinated limbs. In the end, Richard called out Sue Chloe. Sue Chloe had been trained in dance since she was little. Seeing her dance gracefully in a beautiful ballet skirt, I realized that this graduation banquet was all a ploy by Richard. Sue Chloe stood on my shoulders and was recognized by my junior high school dance teacher, and from then on, she embarked on the path of art. This time, I responded directly. Go dance for your grandfather. The relatives and friends around us were taken aback for a moment, then quickly smoothed things over. Ellie, you're really a brainiac. You sure know how to say things concisely. My dad was afraid I would start acting up again, so he hurriedly waved his hands. Okay, no acting. Let's not act. I nodded mysteriously, as if to say to my dad, this child is teachable. Turning around, I left everyone behind and ran home to pack for the first day of school. Thinking about seeing my old acquaintances at school, I couldn't help but feel excited. When I entered the new classroom, the first person I saw was my archenemy, Bella. Bella came from a wealthy family, had excellent grades, and was my closest friend in elementary school. But ever since Chloe Sue returned, Bella had turned her attention to Chloe and gradually drifted away from me. In my previous life, aside from my family, Bella was my greatest source of pain. When Bella saw me, she furrowed her brows. Ella, you got assigned to the same class as me? I ignored her and continued cleaning my desk. Seeing that I was ignoring her, Bella sat down in the seat in front of me and turned to me. I'm talking to you. Did you hear me? Bella was still talking with her mouth wide open, and I blew the dust I had rubbed off the desk onto her. In an instant, a mixture of old snot and saliva flew into Bai Muyao's mouth. Bella froze, pursed her lips a few times, tasted what it was, and immediately threw up on the ground. Bella raised her head, her face red and her eyes filled with tears. Before she could react, I planted a kiss on her cheek. Bella was completely frozen. Good, that kiss will be enough to gross her out for the rest of her life. Just then, I heard a high-pitched male voice. Sumi Masai. Damu, can I sit next to you? I looked up and saw a boy with his left eye covered by his bangs. Damn, it's Otaku. My desk mate's surname is Xia, and his first name is Ching. He likes to watch anime and play games, and is a typical gamer otaku. He's very strange, sleeping on his desk every day and occasionally going crazy. But he got the highest marks in the class. Covering his face with one hand, looking pained, I can't see anything. Damn it, this body is too weak. I glanced at him. Bro, are you having a seizure? Liam smiled awkwardly, and I actually saw a hint of shyness in him. By the way, did you do the last question in yesterday's math homework? I asked him. Homework? Liam scratched his head. I never do it. To my shock, he grinned. I can do it all. I was furious. Liam, you're such a gamer, how can you be so smart? Because I have the power given to me by God. I shot him a dirty look. Liam shrank back, cleared his throat, and regained his composure. Actually, learning is all about method. What method? I can't really explain it. You know, math is a subject where, besides being able to do the problems, you also have to find connections between it and other things. I leaned in to listen, and Liam's ears turned red for no apparent reason, and he started to stutter. Actually, you can think about your favorite subject, Chinese. It's not just language and writing, but also the literature and art that stem from it. It's a vehicle for human emotions, allowing everything in the universe, both grand and small, to be passed down through the ages. Liam became more and more excited as he spoke. In an instant, he grew taller in my eyes. My goodness, he was glowing. Time flew by, and before I knew it, it was my senior year of high school. Everyone in my class wished they could stretch every minute into 2. I decided not to go home and moved my study area to the classroom and dormitory. When I went home to get something, only Granny was there. I casually asked where my parents and Chloe were. The answer was that Richard had taken them on a trip abroad. Granny said earnestly, Chloe has been under a lot of pressure at school lately, so Dahua took her on a trip to relax. Ellie, you're doing well in school, so you should help Sis more. We're a family, so we have to stick together. Sis and I were close, and we played mind games together. But I knew that Granny had grown up in the countryside and had never received an education. These ideas weren't outdated, they were the result of her experiences and the environment she had grown up in. I didn't answer Granny. I grabbed my things and turned to leave. Was I being too cold-hearted? Come on, I wasn't even losing my mind. When I got back to school, I immediately saw Liam, that show-off, standing on a chair and wailing. What, even Brainiac goes crazy. When Liam saw me, he wailed even louder. Woo woo woo, a day without you feels like 3 autumns. Dear deskmate, I missed you so much. Seeing that Liam was about to pounce on me, I reached out and blocked his face. Finally, a long break arrived, and I heard that Sue, Chloe and the others were back. I hummed a song as I walked home. I just wanted to go home and go crazy. When I entered the door, the first person I saw was Sue Chloe. Sis, long time no see. Sue Chloe saw me as if she had seen a ghost and ran faster than a dog. Ella, don't come over here. You coward, you're no fun. I went back to my room and opened the door to find my bed covered with gift boxes. They were all bought for Sue Chloe by Richard from abroad. To be honest, I really wanted to throw them all into the toilet and flush them away. But maybe it was because of Liam's influence as a gamer, I managed to control my anger. Chloe, what's on my bed? I squinted and smiled. Did Sis put them there and forget to take them? Chloe immediately lowered her head and apologized, saying she would clean it up. Something was wrong, very wrong. When did Sue Chloe become so easy to talk to? Sure enough, when I looked closely, I saw Mom hiding in the corner. Mom saw that she had been discovered and said awkwardly, Ellie, come here, I need to talk to you. Okay. I wanted to see what she was up to. Mom pulled me down to sit on the sofa and held my hand affectionately. Ellie, do you like the food at school? Do you need more money? I can send you some more. You're growing, so you have to eat nutritious food. I shivered. Mom, really, just scold me instead. I got straight to the point. What do you want from me? Mom was caught off guard, paused for a moment, then smiled and said, It's nothing. It's just that your dad wanted to introduce Chloe to your junior high school dance teacher at your graduation banquet. But because of your nonsense, Chloe lost her chance. So, did you know something at the time? Huh, so that's why you were concerned about me. I crossed my legs and said bluntly, Go cut some fruit for me first. After Mom went into the kitchen, I opened her bag and found a voice recorder inside. Although it was expected, for some reason, my heart skipped a beat. When Mom came back with the fruit, I started acting innocent. Mom, I actually feel really guilty about this. I didn't know that my impulsive decision would affect Chloe Sis. If I could choose again, I'd rather be mocked by everyone than let Sis have a bright future. To make my acting more convincing, I forced out a few tears. The White Lotus tactic isn't just something Sue Chloe knows, I can pull it off too. Mom was stunned for a moment, then covered her face and cried. Ellie, Dad, and I have been too harsh on you these years. We didn't pay attention to your growth. I didn't expect you to be so sensible. I don't know if she was truly remorseful or just saying that to ease her own guilt. But I'm grown up now and don't need this kind of fuss anymore. Actually, I wanted to say that if I could choose again, I would scream, yell, and crawl in front of the teacher, making Chloe never be able to hold her head up again. At dinner time, Dad came back, carrying large shopping bags. "Chloe, look what Dad brought you." Dad called out to Chloe with a loving expression. But he ended up looking straight at me. "You're Ella?" Richard didn't recognize me at first. Chloe saw Richard as if she had found a lifeline and rushed out of the room to throw herself into his arms. For a moment, I saw Chloe's shadow. I calmly sat down on the sofa, watching the loving father and daughter, pointed at Richard, and said, "I'm hungry, hurry up and make me dinner." I looked up at Chloe. "Don't just stand there, Dad bought you some snacks, bring them all out. Also, I packed a bag of dirty clothes from school, you two go wash them." Chloe was furious, but she was afraid I would lose my temper, so she just glared at me without daring to say a word. I continued, "By the way, I heard that Chloe Sis's midterm exam results are out, and she's third from the bottom. Is this the result of you hiring a tutor for her? You might as well have spent that money on me. I guarantee I could get into Tsinghua or Peking University." Chloe couldn't take it anymore. "Ella, you're too much. What's wrong? Isn't what I said true?" I turned to Dad. Dad gritted his teeth. "Chloe, don't bother with her. Tomorrow, Dad will find you a better tutor. I'll make sure your grades go up." "Is there a tutor who can bring someone back from the dead?" I was stunned. "I want a dozen of those teachers." The next morning, Dad and Mom took Chloe out and Granny went back to her hometown. When I woke up, the house was empty, with only the ticking of the clock. I stretched, pulled open the curtains, and saw the bright sunshine. "Today is another beautiful day," I said to myself. When I entered the living room, I was surprised to find a plate of soy milk and fried dough sticks on the table, with a note tucked underneath. "Ellie, your sister, and I went shopping. The breakfast on the table is for you. Get up and eat while it's still hot." "Mom." I looked at the words on the note, my eyes flickering. Actually, I had mixed feelings toward Mom. I hated her weakness, her compromises, and her silence. But she married my father at the age of 18 and didn't have a job. A woman without productivity can only be oppressed in a family. My father's long-term psychological abuse led to Mom's personality. As I was feeling emotional, I heard a familiar voice from downstairs. "Princess, I'm here to take you to school." I peeked out the window and saw Liam dressed provocatively, leaning against a black Mercedes, waving at me. The bright sunlight glinted off Liam's sunglasses, casting his face in half light, half shadow. For a moment, I actually thought he was kind of cute. "By the way, Princess, you're always in such a hurry, so why didn't you come back to school last night?" Liam climbed up to help me with my luggage. "I was busy going crazy." "Ah, people often say that otaku are crazy, but who cares? As long as you're happy, that's what matters." Idiot, I was really crazy. After getting into the car, I suddenly realized something. "Young master, do you have a driver's license?" "Of course I do." Liam turned his head and raised his eyebrows at me. "I'm already an adult." Liam was afraid I would misunderstand, so he explained, "Actually, I'm only 19 years old. I took a 2-year break from school because of family issues." "Family issues?" I thought I had found a kindred spirit. "Family business inheritance issues." Liam looked serious. Okay. I suppressed the sympathy that was overflowing. I was overthinking it. It was stuffy in the car, so Liam picked up a bottle of water from the front and gulped it down. My expression became unnatural. "Young master, that water. What's wrong?" Liam shouted, "Did you poison it? You're not trying to murder me and take my place, are you?" "No. Just tell me. No matter what you put in it, I can get through it with a smile." Liam looked like he was ready to die for a cause. I confessed, "The bottle of water you're holding is the one I drank from." Liam froze. I had a piece of candy in my mouth, but it disappeared after I took a sip of water. "Did you swallow it?" I shook my head. "It must have fallen into the water." Liam looked at the empty bottle, his eyes dark and unclear. After a long pause, I timidly said, "Young master, you're not thinking of doing something rash, are you?" Actually, it might have been swallowed. It's okay, Liam licked his lips, as if savoring something. This is actually pretty good. The young master is truly not someone ordinary people can be. I gave Liam a thumbs up. You're the man, my brother. With the college entrance exam approaching, I didn't even go home to study. I rented a garage in a neighborhood near the school and studied late into the night. Everyone in the class was working hard, even Liam looked like he was studying. On the eve of the exam, I asked Richard for money to book a hotel, but he refused. In the end, Mom slipped me a wad of cash. After paying the rent for the garage, I could only afford a small, old, rundown room. Liam was driven to a 5-star hotel in a private car. That night, when I went out to get some water, I saw Liam standing at the door across from mine, waving at me. What a coincidence. You. Liam scratched his head and said, the young master is just experiencing life. The next morning, after I left, I saw Liam's messy handwriting on the door. Remember to bring your carbon pen, answer sheet pen, admission ticket, and ID card. When I looked up, Liam was waving at me with a smile. Hurry up, deskmate. Let's go toward our dreams together. After the college entrance exam was over, I got on the bus back to school for the last time. The atmosphere was not as lively as everyone had imagined. Our homeroom teacher, Mr. Wang, tried to lighten the mood. High school is over. What are your plans for the future? The engine hummed for a long time, and the students looked down and remained silent, the bus filled with the silence of farewell. Liam broke the silence. I'm Liam. My wish is to defeat the forces of darkness and let the light of Satan shine upon the earth. Then I stood up and shouted out the window. My name is Ella, and my wish is to be able to poop freely on the streets. The students laughed, and then everyone opened the windows and shouted outside. My name is Lin Zishuang, and I dream that one day humans will grow shells so we can shrink into them and sleep anytime, anywhere. My name is Anxing, and I hope that one day my true love will come to take me home on a rainbow cloud. My name is Gu Nan, and I hope that people will never have to go to work or school again. With Liam's absurd opening, the rest of the answers were all small potatoes. When it was Bella's turn, she said seriously. I hope the boy I like likes me back. After she finished, I noticed that she had quietly shifted her gaze to Liam. No one noticed Bella's little gesture. The students' answers became more and more absurd, and old Wang was so angry that he took off his shoes and chased Liam all over the car. The car was filled with laughter, and the warm wind blew across everyone's faces, freezing this moment in time. These 10 minutes of recklessness would become the freedom we would pursue for the rest of our lives. Summer vacation came quickly, and soon it would be my 18th birthday. Richard was no longer obligated to give me a penny. The first thing I had to do was support myself. In high school, I had always dreamed of writing a novel, but due to the pressure of my studies, I had never put pen to paper. Taking advantage of this time, I locked myself in my room and typed away for a week until I finally finished it. It was a pile of crap. With the mindset that even if it was a pile of crap, I wanted readers to taste it, I found an editor at a publishing house. Unexpectedly, after reading it, the editor praised it repeatedly and said it could be published immediately. Moreover, the royalties were substantial, enough to cover my tuition and living expenses for the first 2 years of college. See, even crap has its admirers. Although it was only much later that I found out that Liam had approached the publishing house in advance and paid them to publish my novel. Years later, whenever Liam mentioned this, he would look at me and say with emotion, I wish I hadn't paid that publishing house so much money. Anyway, now it's yours. Over the next few days, I waited for one thing. I waited for Chloe Sue's birthday party. In my previous life, at Sue Chloe's 17th birthday party, Bella took me to a nearby dangerous building and said she wanted to play hide-and-seek with me. As a result, she locked me in the dangerous building alone. I jumped down from the 2nd floor, sprained my ankle, and struggled to walk back. I saw Bella surrounded by Sue Chloe's friends, with Sue Chloe standing next to Bella. Bella smiled. Do you guys know what Ella likes to eat? She likes fishy things. The fishier, the better. The boys around her said with malicious intent. Tell us more. She likes fishy things. No one wants to eat them, but Ella eats several plates a day. Isn't she a monster? Soon, the college entrance exam results were announced. I ranked 17th in the province. Needless to say, Liam was first in the province. Although there was still a big gap between me and Liam, I was already grateful to heaven for this result. In one day, I received countless calls from prestigious universities. In the end, I got tired of listening to them and turned off my phone. The next second, I heard a familiar ghostly cry. "Little fairy, come out." It was undoubtedly Liam. Just as I was about to run downstairs, Richard stopped me. "Baby, where are you going?" I didn't even bother to look up. "To the underworld. To cross some names off the book of life." Richard's lips twitched, then he laughed. "You're in the top 20 in the province. So many schools are begging for you. It's not safe to go out alone. Dad will go with you." My goodness. I widened my eyes, feigning surprise. "What did you just say? You said Dad?" "I'm your dad." "Oh, wait, you're my dad?" "Oh my gosh, that's so niche. So Dad can send his daughter out?" "Oh my gosh, did I save the galaxy in my past life? Dad sending his daughter out, I'm so excited. Do other people's daughters get this treatment too?" Richard's face looked as if he had swallowed a fly. I took the opportunity to squeeze past him and ran downstairs. Liam was dressed exceptionally flashily today, wearing a white suit and red sunglasses. The moment he saw me, Liam congratulated me. "Congratulations, little fairy, you did great on the exam. The 17th place in the province is great, I don't deserve it. By the way, what major do you want to choose?" I asked Liam. "Probably something related to financial management," Liam sighed. "After all, I have to consider my family." In an instant, I suddenly realized that it wasn't just me who had grown up. Even Liam, this boy who always spoke so childishly, had learned to be sensible. "What about you? What major do you plan to study?" "Me?" I thought for a moment. "I think I'm suited for law." "Why?" "My personality is suited for it. I'll go crazy, but I'll save myself 4 years of detours." Chloe Sue's birthday party arrived as scheduled. Richard invited many of his business partners, and I even saw Liam among them. Liam spread his hands toward me. My parents made me come with them. Even Liam's parents were invited. It seemed like Richard was trying to pave the way for Sue Chloe again. After some small talk with Richard, the conversation somehow turned to me. "Old Rick, you really know how to raise a daughter. Ellie did so well on the college entrance exam. You must have played a big role in that." Richard said shamelessly, "Haha, yeah, Ellie is a pretty stubborn kid. If it weren't for me nagging her every day, she wouldn't have achieved such good results." Go to hell. I was about to charge over and lose my mind, but someone grabbed my arm. The next second, my mouth was covered, and I felt dizzy. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a messy storage room with someone sitting in front of me. My head was spinning, and after a moment, I realized that the person in front of me was Bella. Rough rope rubbed against my wrists, and I managed to utter a few words. "Are you crazy?" Bella's smile sent a chill down my spine. "Ella, don't try to stand in Chloe's way this time. Let me tell you, I never considered you a friend. Chloe is my best friend, and she told me that if I could keep you out of the way this time, she would give me a large sum of money." "Best friend?" I burst out laughing. "Is the relationship between a master and a dog really that complicated?" Bella was so angry that she rushed over and slapped me across the face. But I didn't wait for the next slap. "Do you know that kidnapping is illegal?" I opened my eyes and saw Liam holding Bella's arm tightly. In an instant, I felt. "Liam, you're so damn handsome." After seeing Liam, Bella went limp and collapsed on the ground, watching Liam untie my hands. Just as Liam was helping me leave, I heard Bella's trembling voice behind me. "Liam, let me explain. I didn't mean it." Liam didn't even turn his head. Suddenly, Bella screamed with all her might. "Liam, I like you. I've liked you since the day I first stepped into high school. Can you just look at me once?" Liam's footsteps paused for a moment, and I felt his hand trembling as he held mine. The next second, he raised my hand. "I'm sorry, I already have someone I like. Her name is Ella." After coming out of the storage room, Liam was shaking violently. "Hey," I poked him, but Liam jumped away. "Do you have Parkinson's?" Liam's face turned red, and he explained. "Deskmate, don't take it seriously. I was just trying to get out of it. It's fake? I was a little disappointed. Actually, it's not, Liam stammered. Okay, I understand. I stood on my tiptoes and touched Liam's hair. Since you're not going to confess your feelings to me, then I'll have to confess mine first. Liam's whole body turned red. Ella, what do you mean? You idiot, of course I do, I like you too. When we returned to the party, most people had left, and the table was a mess. Only Richard was left sitting on the stage, covering his face. I didn't do anything, I raised my hands to prove my innocence. When Richard saw me, he wiped away his tears and grabbed my hand like he was clinging to a lifeline. Ellie, you're back. You're safe. Quick, let's go to the police station and get your sister out on bail. Seeing me standing there motionless, Richard came over and pulled me anxiously. Just now, the police suddenly came in, saying they received a report that Chloe kidnapped you. But you're fine now. They're framing Chloe. This is my father. He doesn't care about my safety at all, he only wants to squeeze every last drop of value out of me. So I smiled and said, sure, I'll go with you. At the police station, I turned against them and told the police that Chloe and Bella had kidnapped me. With Liam as a witness, Chloe and Bella would be detained for several days. From that moment on, Richard completely abandoned me. That was exactly what I wanted. I was long past the age of needing my parents' care and concern. 2 months later, I entered college. In college, I met a group of like-minded friends, and I became a different person, learning to rein in my personality. I became more gentle. At a club party, another room was singing karaoke, and it was a bit noisy. As we were drinking, a guy confessed his feelings to me. I was a little drunk and saw a tall, handsome guy with broad shoulders and a narrow waist walking over and taking my hand. Sorry, she already has a boyfriend. I felt relieved and leaned against Liam with a clear conscience. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Liam and I went to the same university. He studies finance, and I study law. The cool night breeze brushed through my hair, and the songs outside the room continued. I heard people cheering around me. Our lives will always continue. The end.